What is up, Hoof listeners? It's me, Anthony Romeo, coming at you with my pick six for week 17 of the 2023 NFL season. That's right, only 2 weeks left of these pick six picks, but I will be doing my playoff picks as well, so don't worry, you still make more money with me there. I've got to say, it has been a great season so far. We went 5-2 last week with my picks. That means we are at above 500 or above 60% once again. That is phenomenal way to be this late in the season. Anything above 500 is winning, right? So anything above 50%, you are a winner, baby, and that's where you want to be. And we're above that by almost 10, by more than 10%, 60 plus percent. That's where you want to be. But we can emphasize that a little stronger by going 6-0 these last 2 weeks. And you better believe that's where my head is at. I cannot believe the slate of games coming up this week. I really, really like the betting atmosphere in week 17. That's not always the case because there's some uncertainty and things going on with teams where they're quitting or whatever. There is a lot of fun to be had and a lot of money to be made, I think, this week for the matchups that we have. So without further ado, I'll get into my pick six for week 17. Coming in at number 6, and I got to say, this was a hard one because I'll talk at the end. There was a lot of runners up. But at number 6, I took the San Francisco 49ers minus 12.5 at Washington. I talked about this on the episode for this week. The 49ers got punched in the face by the Baltimore Ravens, a very, very good team, number 1 seed in the AFC right now. And now they are going into a Washington team that is just not that good at all, really. Totally inconsistent with what they are doing on offense and defense. And the 49ers are going to make a statement this week out of them, I think. So 12.5 just isn't enough. I think they definitely win by 2 touchdowns, but I believe it could be more like a 20-point blowout, and the 49ers really come all out to say, we are still in competing for that number 1 seed. So I love this as my number 6 pick, the 49ers minus 12.5. I'm usually weary of 10 plus lines, but in this case, I think that'll hold true. Moving to my number 5 pick of the week, it's got to be the Seattle Seahawks minus 3.5 at home versus the Steelers. Look, I know the Steelers had a huge game in week 16. They were able to show they could score points, which has been completely not the case for most of the season. However, this Seattle offense is just too much. I think, although the Steelers play consistent defense, the Seahawks are too good at offense. This is going to be on their home turf. The Steelers are coming across the country. I still believe they come back down to earth, and that offense is just totally inept when it comes down to it. So give me the Seahawks minus 3.5. I like them as my number 5 bet of the week. Coming in at number 4, this was a game I told you. The Lions, I'm taking them with the points, plus 5.5 now at Dallas. This game, super competitive for both teams, super important for both teams. I think Dallas gets the win at home, but it's going to be by 3 or less points. So definitely give me the Lions with the points here. I think that's a good pick for this game. That's my number 4 pick of the week. Moving up to my number 3 pick of the week, another game with big time playoff implications. I can't believe that the Raiders are getting 3.5 going into Indy after what they showed against the Kansas City Chiefs on the road, right? There's no bigger opponent than Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and the Raiders put a stomping on them all the way around. I think that they're going to be able to replicate that against this Colts team, who is another good matchup for both this Raiders defense and their offense. So I take the Raiders to win the game. Them getting points is just icing on the cake. That's my number 3 bet of the week. So moving up to my number 2 bet of the week, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars minus 6 at home. This against the Carolina Panthers. This is another one where I know Jacksonville has faltered down the line. I know they haven't been able to capitalize. I know they have looked like a shell of themselves on this 4-game losing streak. However, they're playing the Carolina Panthers, who are one of the worst teams in the NFL. They're playing at home. They're better all around on defense and offense. I think Carolina scores a few points, but Jacksonville ultimately puts a statement win here, winning by more than 7. I think more like 10 to 14 points. So give me Jacksonville minus 6. I really like that one. It's my number 2 bet of the week. So then what's my big bet of the week? I told you there were money to be made here, right? The Chargers at the Broncos. I think the Chargers want to win this game and the Broncos don't, just putting it flat out, right? So the fact that the Chargers are getting points and I think they're going to win the game made this my big bet of the week. I think that I feel confident about that with the benching and the nonsense going on with the Broncos. The Chargers are going to be able to capitalize on that, and they want to feel good about beating the Broncos on their home turf, a division rival who's spiraling come down to the end here. So give me the Chargers as my number one bet of the week, getting 3.5 at the Broncos. There were a couple runner-up games for that number 6 spot. I'm telling you, man, I like Minnesota playing at home against Green Bay. I like Kansas City -6 against Cincinnati. There were just the Eagles should be able to handle the Cardinals at home. The Texans, who you know I love, playing Tennessee at home with their power back. I just think, there's a lot of good money to be had, but let's recap this pick 6 for week 17 as it stands. I'm taking San Francisco -12.5 at Washington. At number 5, I'm taking the Seahawks -3.5 at home versus the Steelers. At number 4, I'm taking Detroit +4.5. It's now moved to 5.5 plus for Detroit. So I'm taking them there. I think that game stays close. My number 3 bet of the week is the Raiders getting points heading to the Colts. So there's 3.5 there. That's my number 3. My number 2 bet of the week is the Jacksonville Jaguars -6 playing at home versus the Carolina Panthers. And my big bet of the week, my number 1, is the Chargers +3.5 playing at the Broncos. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make some more money in this final 2 weeks of the NFL season. Remember that Eric and I will be back Tuesday to do a recap and Thursday to give our picks as always. And we appreciate all of you for everything and tuning in this season. We've had a lot of fun, but we're going to carry this all the way into the playoffs. So stick with us and make money with me. It's been a great season so far. We're going to put an emphasis on it here. And as always, thanks for kicking it with us.